What's up, guys? How y'all doing again? I have returned for yet another video, and this is something that I've had a bit of a problem with, at least in Supercross anyway, and that's the 250 class. And as you're going to see by this banner that I'm about to put up, there you see it. That's what it says here. Pointing out in the 250 class should be changed. You know why? Because I have a major problem with the 250 class, at least in terms of pointing out. And I'm going to actually go back to when I started following the sport, because when I started following the sport, when it was called the 125 class at the time, pointing out in Supercross was simple and easy to understand. And since 2009, it's been like a total jigsaw puzzle where none of the pieces don't even fit. You see what I'm getting at here? So anyway, obviously the 250 class pointing out has to be changed. I'm telling you this now, because when I first started following the sport, it was easy to understand. At the time, they defined pointing out as scoring 100 points in 3 straight seasons, or you win back-to-back titles. And other guys have won back-to-back 125 titles, like Damon Huffman, Kevin Windham, not Ernesto Fonseca, but Ivan Tedesco won back-to-back titles. Grant Langston, James Stewart, they all won back-to-back titles, as I said. But at the same time, they also scored 100. Some of them also scored 100 points in 3 straight seasons. This year, they're not going by points anymore. This year, they didn't go by points anymore. I don't know about 22, but that's what it's been, at least for the last year or so. They don't go by points anymore. They just say, you win a title, you get 1 year to defend it, and then you're out. I actually have a real problem with that. I mean, is it easier to understand? Yes, it is. But at the same time, you are practically allowing guys like RJ Hampshire, Max Anstey, and even Hayden Deegan, if it turns out that way, or even Jordan Smith. You're allowing those guys to have a career in the 250 class. And that wasn't the point of when the 125 class was created, and then it became the 250 class in 2013, and then it was called the lights class. I was okay with that, honestly. But of course, in motocross, I'm fine with it because you get to ride whatever class you want. But as far as Supercross goes, that's a rule that needs to be changed. As simple as it is, winning a title in the 250 class is way easier said than done. Not going to lie to you. Because there are a lot of potential champions who never did win a title and ended up moving up on their own. Guys like Andrew Short, Michael Alessi, and even what we're seeing right now with or even some guys that did move up on their own, like Martin Davalos. And that guy had a total career in the lights. That guy had a long career in the lights class along with other guys. So, but anyway, the pointing out rule, you win a title, you get 1 year to defend it. And as easy as it is, it's not as easy as it looks to win a title, because you need to start going by points again. And even if you don't win a title, the idea should be to make the 250 class a stepping stone to the premier class. And while at the same time not going by points, you guarantee a ride in the 250 class. And especially since there's a lot more help when you look at the budget. And while a 250 ride is virtually guaranteed, especially if you're an up-and-coming amateur, that may or may not sit well, because you're definitely going to wear out your welcome. And you're also, and like I said earlier, you're practically allowing guys to have a career in the 250 class. And that's certainly not the point. In MXGP, they go by age. They don't go by points. So either if you're in the AMA, you either go by age or start going by points again. But if I was running it, I would certainly go by points. But the way that I would run it is if you score 100 points in 3 seasons, period, or win back-to-back titles. I leave the winning back-to-back titles rule alone because Zach Osborne did so. I mean, and you've heard me run down a list of other guys that did as well. But there have also been guys in the 250 class that were stuck, that were lost and kind of stuck there, as Danny Stevenson once put it. So, go by points. So if I'm making a change right now, just make it extremely simple. Go back to the old days, except either win back-to-back titles or score 100 points in 3 seasons, period. Doesn't have to be consecutive. It does not have to be consecutive, I should say. Because I can remember when Billy Laninovich was a 250 rider in the mid to late 2000s. He was on his way to moving up, but he got hurt during the motocross season in 2006, and he had to run the East Coast in 07. He didn't crack 100 points in that 3rd season. And as a result, Laninovich's career came to an end pretty much after 2009 because he was a test rider for Kawasaki. Then he came back for 1 year as a privateer in the 250 class in 2012, and that was it. Then he got a real job. I mean, this sport can chew you up and spit you out at times, but, you can make it. And if you're in the motocross, I don't even care if you ride the 250 class. I don't care if you ride the 450 class. Because, there are guys that are just better in motocross. Some guys are better in supercross. But for guys like Max Anstey, who are supercross only in the 250 class, I do think that if they went by age like they do in MXGP, Anstey wouldn't be eligible for the 250 class. Because he was 29 years old last year, or this past season. So, and of course, Josh Hansen was another guy who was another example of a lights veteran, so to speak. Because, at times he would ride the 450s in the 450s, and then he even came back to the 250s for the 2010 season under Mitch Payton's team, under Pro Circuit Kawasaki. And Hansen got close to winning a title in 2011, but a hand injury pretty much ruined his run. And that was pretty disappointing to me. And I was pulling for Hansen to win that title as well. And for a guy who's not pointed out of the lights class, like Josh Hansen, that did allow him the option, but how many people are going to take it? He took his in 2014 when he went back to the 250s. Blake Baggett also decided to jump up to the 450, but he had sat out the remainder of the 2012 or 13 Supercross season. Maybe it was 13. And he ended up still eligible to return. Now, for guys like Brock Tickle, who won the 2011 West title in the 250s, of course, he didn't know it at the time, but he had pointed out of the lights class at the time. And, of course, Mitch Payton showed his loyalty, gave him a 450 ride, and he had a pretty frustrating season after that. But after that, his career pretty much ended. I actually kind of thought that Tickle would return to the 250s for motocross, but he didn't, surprisingly. So that's why I think the 250 class should start going by points again. But at the same time, you either win back-to-back titles or you score 100 points in 3 seasons, period. That's how I would run it. Doesn't have to be consecutively. That way, then you're in the lights class, you're in the 250 class, then you're out. Then you're Just kind of like a restaurant, you know, in and out, you know, come in, have your food, come in, have your food, see you next time. Come in, eat your food, see you another day. That's the way it should be. It should go by that, you know. I have so many problems because you could be in the 250 class for as long as guys like Josh Hansen, Martin Davalos, and Ryan Morais were, and still not win a title and still be eligible. So the 250s should go by points again, but they should start looking back at the old rules and maybe do some tweaking and maybe either go by the old rules or do what I just talked about, 3 straight or score 100 points in 3 seasons, period. Doesn't have to be consecutively. That way, then it's a lot more easier to understand. I mean, right now, is it easy to understand in the 250 class for pointing out? Yeah. But at the same time, you're allowing guys to have careers in the 250 class. And that's not the point of the 250 class, period. So if I'm the AMA right now, I'm making some changes. And just leave it alone. You know? I mean, why change a good thing? You know? I mean, you basically changed up a rule that was so easy to understand. Now it's all jumbled up like a jigsaw puzzle. Like I said, it's all jumbled up like a jigsaw puzzle where none of the pieces even fit. That's what the AMA is doing. You know? So let me know in the comments down below if you agree. And anyway, guys, that's all for today. And anyway, just remember, subscribe. I will catch you guys later. So long, everyone.